Well, good morning. I have 10 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for the December School-Based Decision-Making webinar. My name is Ruth Swanson, and I'm the Program Manager for District 180. So you're probably confused not seeing Mia today, but they are out of the office for today, so I'm going to share our updates with you.
I'm going to update.
So for today, we're going to spend some time looking at phase 3 of the comprehensive improvement planning process, which includes the CSIP. Just a quick reminder about council verification data. We do have a few stragglers there. And then we'll talk about the window that's about ready to open for the alternative model applications. So phase 3 of the improvement planning process includes the CSIP diagnostic, which also has the goal building template. And so this is where the prioritized goals, strategies, and activities are outlined. And because CSIPs are 3 to 5 year plans, most of your schools are probably in the middle of a cycle right now. So it's important to remember that that means that we're not starting over every year, but we are taking a look at what we've done previously, where we are in relationship to our goals, and what still needs to be done in order to meet those goals. For this year, the goal template has been revised with a couple of pretty significant changes. So the first change is that there are actually 2 required goals this year, and that is schools must address state assessment results in reading and math, and they must also address achievement gap. And for some schools, those 2 goal areas may be enough to address and make improvement in the areas that came up as priority needs in their needs assessment. There could be, though, other schools, let's say maybe a high school, who is having trouble getting students ready, post-secondary ready. And so that may be an area that they need to include an optional goal for post-secondary readiness. Or maybe there's an elementary school and their EL students are not progressing in their language acquisition like they need to be. So that may be an optional goal that they're also going to add for their CSIP. So there's the 2 required goal areas, and then according to needs assessment, there are some optional goals that might be chosen. And those can be from any of the other indicators in the state assessment process. Let me go back here one more time. The other big change, obviously, is the format of the goal building template. In the past, the format has been set out in tables, and that made it difficult, first of all, for accessibility reasons, but then also it made it difficult to print out the plan on normal 1/2 by 11 paper. And so we've kind of streamlined the template. It's now flows and is able to print on 8.5 by 11 paper. The thing to remember, though, is all of the elements from previous templates are still in the current template. They just look a little bit different. So that's the other big change that your schools are dealing with when it comes to that CSIP template. The other thing I will mention when we're talking about CSIPs and CDIPs, if you have schools in your district who have been identified for TSI or CSI, or excuse me, TSI or ATSI, there is an addendum with some additional requirements that is also a part of their improvement planning process. The thing to remember is that for TSI and ATSI schools, they are using the same goal building template. They are just adding responses on an addendum, and then things that they address on their addendum should be seen in the strategies and the goals of their continuous improvement process and in their CSIP plan. Also, if you have schools that have been newly identified for CSI, there is a turnaround plan process, but that does not start until after their diagnostic review and until after they've gotten that report that they will go through and revise their CSIP. And that happens with the turnaround plan and with the advisory leadership team, or the ALT, that is formed once that report has been delivered. We did want to send out a quick reminder about council training or council verification data. So that was due on November 1st, and I know Mia has been sending out reminders. We still have about 25, 26 schools who we are missing data for. So if you could assist in getting that information in there, that would be great. Also, if you do have newly identified CSI schools, once their diagnostic review report has been delivered, the SBDM Council's authority gets transferred to the superintendent, and they then create an advisory leadership team. And so once that ALT has been formed, their information needs to be included in that database. So just a quick reminder if you have any schools in that situation. Oh, missed a slide. The other thing we wanted to talk about is the upcoming window for alternate model applications. So that window opens on January 1st and closes February 28th. And so schools who wish to propose a different format than the traditional structure of the SBDM must complete an application. And that application is available on the SBDM Technical Documents webpage. And that alternative model must be developed with representation from families, certified staff, school administration, and maybe students if that's appropriate. The application requires a description of things like the membership, the organization, kind of the duties and responsibilities of that school council. It also requires that it include the names and signatures of folks who are involved in that. And then it does require information about the voting. This alternate model must be approved by 2/3 of the faculty. So there's questions on that application about those voting results. So if you are completing one of those applications, once those are sent to Mia, the KDE SBDM team will review those, and then those are sent on to the commissioner's office and then eventually to the state board for final approval. Also, we want to remind you that if you are wanting to add non-voting members, that does not require this alternative model application. And with that, I will leave you with Mia's contact information. Here in just a minute, I will put the attendance verification form in the chat, and I'll open it up to see if anyone has any questions right now. All right, so that link to the attendance verification form is in there. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season as well. Thanks for joining today.